Okay, guys, we're going to be talking about backward design today and exploring. So, understanding by design, UBD, backward design encourages teachers and curriculum planners to think like assessors before designing specific units and lessons. Basically, we're planning with the end in mind. So, how is backward design different? Traditional lesson plans usually start with a goal or objective, activities for the students to do, some type of assessment at the end. Backward design is a little bit different. We start with the goal and objective, but then we think about the assessment. What is the end result? What do we want to see the students learn? What will they gain? And then we plan those activities based on what we want to assess. So, why think backward? Well, think about when we, in our everyday life, if we need to go somewhere, we use some type of navigation system. It might be Google Maps, for example. Well, in Google Maps, you type in the address where you want to end up, the end result. Then it gives you a number of routes that you can try to take to get to where you want to go. You choose a route, you do the steps, you get to the end result. We've been doing backward design all along, but now we're applying it to our teaching practice. So there are 3 stages. Identify the desired results, determine acceptable evidence, and plan the learning experiences. Stage 1, identify the desired results. Some key questions to think about. What should students know and understand and be able to do? What is the ultimate transfer we're seeking from the students after we teach the lesson? What enduring understandings are desired? What are the essential questions that will be explored in depth? In the first stage of backward design, we consider our goals, examine and establish content standards, and review curriculum expectations. Learning priorities are established by long-term performance goals. What is it that we want the students in the end to be able to do with what they have learned? This involves transfer, making meaning, and acquisition. Can they transfer these skills they're learning to new things? Does it have meaning for them? Can they understand what we're teaching them? And have they acquired those new skills to help them move on to something else? Those are always what we're looking for. Those are the desired results. Question: what do you see as an advantage of backward design approach to lesson planning? Stage 2, determine assessment evidence. Some key questions. How will we know if the students have achieved the desired results? What will we accept as evidence of student understanding? Did they transfer that information? And how will we evaluate the student's performance in a fair and consistent way? And that's really, really important because we have to remember our students are individuals. So although we want to see that desired result, we have to give them some room to show us how they know it in the best way they can. Backward design encourages teachers and curriculum planners to first think like assessors before designing specific units and lessons. So we need to look at performance tasks, other evidence, and those together will give us 2 broad types of assessment. For performance tasks, students apply learning to new situations as a means of assessing their understanding and ability to transfer the learning. These are our exams, our projects, and our presentations. Other evidence would add to that assessment to give us a clearer picture of what the students truly know and can understand. That would be the quizzes and the tests, our observation, work samples, if we have little small mini groups and guided groups, all those things will give us a clearer picture. There are 6 facets to understanding: explaining, interpreting, apply, give perspective, display empathy, and self-knowledge. So, explaining, the student just simply can tell you what they did. They can put it in their own words. Interpret, is that they can show meaning through some type of activity. Maybe they'll draw a picture or tell a story or design some type of model to let you know they understood. Can they apply those strategies effectively using what they've known to adapt their knowledge and get a better sense of meaning? Can they demonstrate perspective? Do they get the big picture and do they recognize the end point and what we're trying to get done? Can they display empathy? Meaning, can they put themselves in someone else's shoes or identify or be sensitive about the topic? And then self-knowledge. Can they reflect? Do they truly understand what they've learned? Are they aware of how this changes them and changes their knowledge? Two key points to keep in mind when assessing understanding through the facets. All 6 facets of understanding do not need to be used at the same time in assessment. For example, we are working on math. If we're working on math, we expect the students to be able to apply and interpret and even explain. That feels natural when it comes to math. However, we don't expect them to use empathy or even maybe perspective for math. The performance tasks are based on one or more facets, but they're not intended to be used in daily lessons. We're looking for the bigger picture. So key questions for now planning. How will we support the learners as they come to understanding the important ideas and perspectives and processes? How will we prepare them to use or to automatically learn? What enabling knowledge and skills will the students need to perform effectively? And what activities or sequences or results or things are we looking for? How do we know we've accomplished our goal? Teachers should plan the most appropriate lesson and learning activities to address the 3 different stages: transfer, making meaning, and acquisition. Teaching for understanding requires opportunities to draw inferences and make generalizations, opportunities to construct meaning, opportunities for the students to learn in new situations, timely feedback on their performances, and reflection. If backward design is not currently used or widely used, how would you initiate the discussion for other teachers to use this approach? Here's a lesson plan template that was found on Pinterest that gives an example of how to plan for backward design. And it also has those 3 steps: the desired result, assessment evidence, learning or planning the learning, and then it adds one: reflection. You need to reflect on the lesson. Did the students learn what I need them to learn? What comes next? How can I further their learning based on what I just taught them? And I know the curriculum kind of spells things out for us, but you as the teacher thinking and turning your wheels on what you want to do next for your students. So let's try it out. In math, we can use TEAC 6.2, numbers and operations. The students apply mathematical processing standards to represent and use rational numbers in a variety of forms. So our desired results are for the students to be able to make a visual representation sorry, of number relationships. Basically, understanding that whole numbers, integers, and rational numbers are all related, and how. So this will be my assessment piece, a visual representation of what I want the students to be able to do and understand how these numbers interact with each other. The learning activities will be different opportunities for the students to practice these skills and get ideas. For example, we can have numbers on Post-it notes that the children would place in the different boxes or different circles. We can also have actual boxes that the students can put the numbers in and build and take them apart and see them. That would give a real physical feel to the lesson. So reflection for me would be, what did my students learn? How do I know they learned it? What if they didn't get it? How can I help them get it? And what did I learn while teaching them? And of course, what's next? So this has been Backward Design, those are some of my resources that I used, and you are more than welcome to try it out. Ask